This is my engineer's vise, which is attached to an MDF bed. It is held into place by 3 carriage bolts tightened using nuts. The bed is in turn attached to a workbench using wing knobs, which screwed into threaded wooden inserts. While this setup allows me to quickly free up space from the workbench, the original MDF has seen better days and the vise now doesn't feel quite secure. The square piece of metal which digs the bolt into the MDF has lost its grip. I want to replace the base with a sturdier piece of ply. So after unscrewing all the fixings and using a long nose vice grips to hold the bolt while I unscrew the final nut, I knocked these out and placed the original board on top of the ply. I am going to use it like a template so I can locate the original inserts on the work table. After clamping the two together, I use the transfer punches to mark the centre of the outer holes. I also mark a line across the middle of the ply using an engineer's square, which allows me to check the alignment of the vise. The line I drew crossed a small mark I made with the transfer punch. I then used the original MDF to transfer the bolt holes. I'm using this generic shot of myself cutting some ply on the table saw and then drill out the holes, starting with the larger ones for the wing knobs. I changed to a smaller bit to mark through the vice bolt holes and use a Forstner bit on the underside. This will recess the dome carriage bolt heads. After doing this, I drill their hole to the same diameter as the bolt I will be using. I hammer the bolts into the ply, flip it over and bolt the vise into place. I'm using a washer, a nut and a locking nut, which might seem a bit excessive, but I don't want this thing to budge, no matter what I'm whacking on it. I am also going to add some insert nuts to the end of another workbench. This area is a little bit of a dumping ground, but when the entire workshop is a mess, I often use the vise here. I line the base and use the transfer punches again to mark through the holes. I drill out the melamine. With a Forstner bit so the head of the insert sits flat with the surface, and then make the holes. I screw the insert using a chopped down Allen key fitted into the chuck of a hand drill. This technique of securing tools to a workbench allows for versatility around what is otherwise a small workshop. I have also used a similar technique to hold the pillar drill in place.